Yo, what is up, guys? My name is Nicholas Earle, and welcome back to another episode of Earle Sports Bets. And today we have an interesting video here. It's All-Star break, and I kind of wanted to come out with some type of baseball content for just to get us to the second half of the season here on Friday. Obviously, I'm recording this on Wednesday. There is no games today. There are no games tomorrow. So I wanted to take a step back and look at the first half of the season. And then I looked at some projections and stuff like that for how certain sites expect them to finish overall and things like that. So what I'm doing here is these are teams I'm looking to buy on in the second half. I think these are teams that, and when you look at their first half, I think they project better in the second half. Maybe their strength of schedule gets easier, and they may be on pace for a certain amount of wins. And then DraftKings has them a few games higher. And I look at Fangraphs as well. They project them a few games higher than what they're on pace for and things along those lines. So I have 5 teams that I'm looking to buy on the second half. I do have 2 honorable mentions. We'll start with those here. The Oakland Athletics and the Miami Marlins. Now, these are just honorable mentions because there's a couple caveats that I like more at the other teams that I put in this list rather than these 2 teams right here. Miami is pretty self-explanatory. We're still fading them every single day. We came into the season, I think their win total was 76.5, 78.5. That was the easiest. That was my favorite play of the year. It was their under. And I look for them to continue to lose baseball games. Over 59.5 wins, though, tells us they're going to win. They're going to lose 102 baseball games still this year. So I still think they're going to be a tough team to bet on. And also, they are probably selling at the deadline. And that's something you got to keep in mind is some of these teams might be selling at the deadline. The first 2 I'll talk about will definitely be selling at the deadline. I just think their lines are low enough and things along those lines. There's a couple of factors I like. And the Oakland Athletics are the same thing as well. The reason why the Oakland A's were on the honorable mentions, by the way, Miami Marlins, we have Fangraphs has them projected at 62.3 wins this year. And DK has them at 59.5. So I saw an edge there. They're on pace for 55.73 wins this year, the Miami Marlins. The one thing that really kept them on the honorable mentions for me as well is their schedule actually gets tougher in the second half of the season. They were 13th in the first half already played, and they're 5th going forward. The Oakland A's are a team that jumped off the page a little bit for me here. Fangraphs has them projected for 65.4 wins. Their DK odds are 62.5. They're on pace for 61.24 with a 37-61 record. They did play the 4th toughest strength of schedule in the beginning of the season so far, and their strength of schedule in the second half of the season is 20th overall in the MLB. So I do look for them to play better with an easier strength of schedule. The thing that kept me off them was their win total in the beginning of the season was 57. I don't want to bet a 62.5 when you could have gotten 57 preseason. So we'll head to the first team here, and you're going to have to plug your nose on this one here. Chicago over 49.5 wins. My reasoning behind this, they are 27-71 right now. They're on pace for 44.71 wins this year. And they have played the 3rd toughest strength of schedule so far in the MLB. Now that'll only get easier by a few spots. They have the 12th remaining strength of schedule in baseball, 12th toughest. But Fangraphs has this team projected at 53.8 wins. Their DK odds are 49.5 when they're on pace for around 45 wins this year. A couple things kind of really shouted out that at 49.5. there might be value to bet this team to win 50 baseball games this year, which is 50 and 112. I don't see them being that much worse than things along those lines. So yes, the first team here, plug your nose a little bit. It's going to be ugly, but Chicago over 49.5 wins, I think has a little bit of value here. Now, I'm not sure how many of these I'm actually betting. These are just teams I'm looking on there. The second team here, we're going to go back to the AL West. We mentioned the Oakland A's in the honorable mentions. I like the LA Angels over 70.5 wins a little bit here. Very similar to the Oakland A's. Their strength of schedule gets significantly easier in the second half. The Angels had the second rated strength of schedule, second toughest in the MLB. And in the second half, it's going to be the 27th overall toughest. So theirs is getting significantly easier in the second half. And Fangraphs has them projected at 80 wins. Nope, they have them at 71.7 wins. I was reading the Rangers there, and they have a 70.5. So the edge is not huge there, but when you're on pace for 69.17 wins and your schedule is getting that much easier, that's something I'm going to look at here, kind of like the Angels, over 70.5 wins in the second half of the, or for this year. This next one's probably one of my favorite ones here. It's Cincinnati. I like them at over the 79.5 wins. And with the way the wild card race is going, 7-1 for the Cincinnati Reds to make the playoffs. It makes sense to me a little bit. I might actually bet this one. This is one that I'm actually looking at probably getting invested here. The Cincinnati Reds are 47-50. They're on pace for 78.57 wins this year. Their DK odds are 79.5. So DK has them one game above their pace at the moment. And when you look at Fangraphs, has them around there, 79.6 wins. So why do I like this team so much? They have a positive run differential, even though they're 3 games under 500, 38 runs. That tells me that they're outscoring their opponents, and I look for them to positively regress in that way. Also, what helps is they played the 11th rated strength of schedule so far in this season, and in the second half, it's the 24th remaining strength of schedule. So they have a much easier remaining strength of schedule in the second half. I think that can allow them to build up some wins that maybe they weren't able to in the first half, playing a little bit tougher to the schedule. And 7-1 on a team where who are they going to have to catch? I mean, the Mets, the Padres, not really the Padres, the Cardinals, who are, I think, a team that can regress, and we'll get into that in the other video I have planned on 5 teams I'm looking to sell on. They are an honorable mention. There's a little hint towards that one there. Cardinals going under. So if the Cardinals are going under, I think that they can lose their playoff spot. And who's a team that can take it? The Cincinnati Reds right here. I think the Cincinnati Reds over 79.5 wins is worth a look. And if you want to sprinkle a little big plus money, 7-1 on them to make the playoffs. I'm looking for the Reds to have a better second half of the season. Heading on to the 4th team here, the San Diego Padres, another team where if you're looking for a little plus money on the playoff prop, I put a question mark next to that one because I believe they were plus 170 heading into the season. I think this win total is right about there. I think they were 81.5 preseason, 82.5 now. I'm not overly concerned about that. The San Diego Padres in the beginning of this, so far this season, have played the 8th rated strength of schedule, top 10 rate, toughest schedule, and they are 49-48. They're on pace for 81.81 wins. Fangraphs has them projected at 83.1, and DK has them at 82 wins. And they will have the 29th rated strength of schedule in the second half of the season. So they will have a significantly easier schedule than they had in the first half of the season, where they went one game over 500. And when you look at the San Diego Padres team, what do I expect them to do at the trade deadline? I expect AJ Parler to buy. We know he's going to be aggressive. Garrett Crochet could be a San Diego Padre. They can go out and make some big splashes here and trade some pieces away. And I think they will do that to try to compete this year, because I think this Padres team is good enough if they make the playoffs to make a little bit of a run in the postseason. This is a team where if you're looking for maybe a long shot here in the National League, I've been kind of hyping up this Padres team a little bit. I think they are a buy-on team in the second half, especially with a significantly easier schedule. We'll stay in the NL West for the final one here. I did not put the playoffs for this team because I don't know if I see them making the playoffs. However, if you want to, I don't hate it. The San Francisco Giants over 80.5 wins is going to be the last one we're going to talk about here. They're 47-50 on pace for 78.57 wins. However, Fangraphs has them at 81.1 wins, and their over-under is 80.5. So they do expect better from the Giants here, and very similar to the Padres, and very similar to the Athletics, and very similar to the Angels. They played a top 5 strength of schedule. They were 5th strength of schedule, and it'll be 26 for the second half of the season. So the Giants will have a little bit more of a favorable schedule in the second half of the year to stockpile more wins and help us potentially get over the 80.5 wins here in this spot. So those are some teams I'm looking at to buy on in the second half. We'll quickly recap. Oakland A's and Miami Marlins are the honorable mentions. I'm not gung-ho on these two teams. They're honorable mentions for a reason. They're just teams that project better than where they are now, again, and compared to their projections, but they're not teams I'm fully willing to buy on. First one's ugly. Chicago White Sox over 49.5 wins. The LA Angels over 70.5 wins. The Cincinnati Reds over 79.5 wins. And to make the playoffs at 7-1, I'm very interested in. The Padres over 82.5 wins and plus 145 for the playoffs. And then the San Francisco Giants over 80.5 wins. We'll wrap up this video here. If you guys have any teams you're looking to buy on in the second half, let me know in the comments section down below. I want to thank you guys always for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Good luck.